Good evening to one and all. A warm welcome to 93rd International Workshop on how to get your first book published, top publishing tips under Golden Jubilee Year of NEHU May 2022 to May 2023 International Workshop Series, a series of programs with the highest number and best of ability every Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. Research and publication for happiness and development, jointly organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC, Northeastern Hill University, NEHU Shillong, Meghalaya, and Indian Society for Training and Development ISTD Shillong chapter, Shillong, Meghalaya, in collaboration with the Department of Philosophy and IQAC, Moran College, affiliated to Dibrugarh University, MORANHAT, ASSAM, and Department of Philosophy, Sri VENKATESWARA University, SVU, TIRUPATI, Andhra Pradesh. A warm welcome to today's keynote speaker, my guru, collaborator, guide, keynote speaker, Professor P. Chennai Sir, Department of Philosophy, Sri Venkateswara University, Professor Prabhasankar Shukla Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, NEHU Shillong, Professor A.S. Dixit Sir, former Registrar and former Director, IQAC NEHU, Professor Raja Reddy Sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Venkateswara University, Professor Mithali Kaur, Principal, Moran College, Dr. Srutasni Gugoi Madam, Workshop Coordinator, Head, Department of Philosophy, NSS IQAC Coordinator, Professor B.S. Mipun Sir, Chairman ISTD Shillong Chapter. A warm welcome to senior teachers, administrators, policymakers, researchers, research scholars, students, and all the participants. How to get your first book published, top publishing tips. While doing a number of MOOC courses, I learned a lot and I published first book already I mentioned with the help of my supervisor, Professor D. Ramchandra Reddy Sir and Professor Adinarayan Reddy Sir, Sri Venkateswara University, the year 2010, then onwards publishing. Professor Chennai Sir also published many books on national and international level. With the practical first-hand information, we are going to share few tips to publish your first book. Those who are never published any book, those who already published also, we have some. While interacting with Anita Sharma ji from Amritsar, Guru Nanak Dev University, under Guru Nanak Dev University, DAV College of Education, she published books under Amazon, Kindle publication. So a number of ways are there. Rajaram Mohan Roy, the wing under Ministry of Education, also providing ISBN number. There are so many ways, Lab Lambert, Germany and others, self-publishing and traditional publishing, different types of. So we are going to learn so many things. As usual, Professor Chennai Sir going to deliver keynote address by taking new philosophers, one traditional old classical philosopher. So through Sir only I learned so many new philosophers, concepts of new things. Even through our program only we came to know about Ikigai, Lagom, Ubuntu, many things. So with a warm welcome, all the participants. As usual, we start our program with Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sukhalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Sasya Shyamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhrajyotsna Pulakitayamini, Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you. I'm requesting Professor Chennai Sir to deliver keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Respectable coordinator Dr. Amaresh sir, who is the coordinator and collaborator for international workshop, and all the participants of the program. Today I am going to share one great philosopher of the world who belongs to Italy, philosophy of Italy. So he's a world famous philosopher. His name is Leonardo da Vinci, Leonardo DAVANCI, is a world famous philosopher.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Amaresh sir.
Now it is audible, sir. Now it is audible, sir.
I will
Please.
start. Audible. So here the philosopher Leonardo da Vinci, philosopher of the world, belongs to Italy, is a world famous philosopher. So he has painted world famous paintings. Mona Lisa, many great. He's a great painter of the world, great philosopher of the world. He's a great engineer, great scientist. So he's a great philosopher. He born in 15th April 1452 and died 2nd May 1519. So nearly 500 years ago he lived. He said about many things about life, learning many things. Learning is the only thing. The mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. So he's telling, you can learn anything, many things. The mind won't fear. The mind won't regret. For learning, mind welcomes. You can learn many things. So we don't find any exhaustion. We don't find any fear. We don't find any problem in the mind. If you have a learning interest, so learning is the only thing. The mind never, so mind never rejects learning. Apart from learning, it has many reservations. Sometimes we find any unpleasant thing, problematic thing, sorrowful thing, dangerous thing. It won't give any clearance. It won't welcome. So for learning, for good things, for life things, it welcome. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So if you want to paint anything, if you want to learn anything, if you want to learn any art, if you want to live with a joyful manner, simplicity is the most important thing. What do you mean by simplicity? Simplicity is a living freedom from desires. If you have an attachment with the desires, sometimes you may get fulfillment and completion relating with desires. Sometimes you won't get. If you want to get fulfillment relating with the desires, automatically you will get frustration. So what do you mean by frustration? So failure in the action, failure in the getting. What is the effect of frustration? Frustration creates depression. Depression creates unhappiness. That's why sometimes we may get more, have joyful things through fulfillment of desires. Sometimes if we want to fulfill our desires, we may get psychological problems. That's why Leonard Donensis tell, live with a simplicity, live with a fresh mind, live without any desires, live with a creativity, live with the inner space. Then your life will be very beautiful. Whatever you do in life, if you want to be creative and intelligent, and develop your brain, you must do everything within the awareness that everything in some way connects to everything else. So if you want to live very beautifully, if you want to do something, wherever you are, whatever the thing you are, you have to go with the awareness. So here, so this awareness is a light. So if you go in a darkness with a light, on the help of the light, you may see many objects in the darkness. While seeing clearly many objects, you may decide where you have to go, what to do, what not to do. You may decide on the basis of the perception of the objects with the help of the light. In the same manner, you have an inner light that is called soul. The quality of the light is awareness. So here in the journal, oil life, in the electrical light, we find light. So that is a brightness that removes darkness. So here we have an inner light. We may stop if we believe, if you decide not to question, not to learn, not to inquire, if you believe very strongly, you can decide not to learn or not to question, blindly follow, then your inner light will go far off. So if you use questioning, awareness, alertness, watchfulness, you may get more awareness relating with your light. So here, Leonardo Donanzi, great fighter of the world, great philosopher of the Italy, he is telling, wherever you are going, in the night or a darkness, in the light, in the work, if you miss awareness, you may face so many problems. So that's why awareness is a light that is there inherently in our soul. Your soul is a light, your soul is a awareness. So if you use your inner light or inner awareness for all your activities, you may get more extraordinary energies. Life is a pretty simple. You do some stuff, most fails, some works, you do more what you works. So here he is telling, in the life, sometimes you may get a success, sometimes you may get a failures. So sometimes you may get the skills. So whatever the things available, whatever the things which are giving happiness to you, you have to perform. The greatest deception man suffers is from their own opinions. So he is telling, don't conclude anything. So the opinion is relating with one time. It may change any time. So if don't have any opinions on objects, on the people and ideas and things, because the world is a flux, world is a momentary, world is a change. So if you fix opinion on something, then in the future you may find more changes in the objects. There you have a opinion on particular thing. That's why on the basis of personal opinions, people are getting deception on the basis of their own opinions. There are three classes of people: those who see when they are shown, those who do not see. So here we have a three types of people relating with the learning in the observation in the world. Those who see, so their life is a constant observation, constant awareness. They watch everything without any judgment, with a complete manner. Those who see when they are shown. So some people, they saw if things are available. If somebody asks to see this particular thing, they may see. Another, those who do not see, sometimes they may not see anything. So experience is a true guide than the words of others. So he is telling you may have many words relating with many philosopher, educationists, great people, great writing, great books, but it's another level. But so your experience is the true guide for your life. So whenever you find any ideas, objects, concepts, you have to experiment with experience. So if you got experience, if you got understanding on the basis of your experience is your true guide. Not to punish evil is equivalent to authorize it. So in the society, is telling about the social order. Here we have two types of behaviors in the world, good behavior and evil behavior. So some people are doing some crimes, some people are doing some good things. If you accept the people who are doing crimes, that means you have given authorization to that particular people to continue their crimes. That's why he is telling not to punish evil is equivalent to authorize it. If you are not implementing laws, if you are accepting the negative affairs of the policy makers, country and everything, that means you have given authorization to continue their evil acts. That's why he is telling, don't accept any evil acts. Don't accept any violations of the laws and rules of the society and the people. To be a winner, you must want to win, but most know of the chance of losing, and you must not fear of it. So here in the world, we have a success and defeat. Sometimes we may get success, sometimes we may get defeat, but you should be ready for welcoming defeat also. If you are not ready to welcome or accept defeat, then you may get a psychological problem. If you accept the defeat, then in the future you may get a success. Your acceptance, your approval, your understanding about your defeat is the source for getting more success in the future. It is not enough that you believe what you see. You must also understand what you see. So if you see something, problems, your brain is much better than you think. Just use it. So you have a empty mind, you have a full mind. In the empty mind, you may get creativity on the basis of spaceness, mind with memory. So a clever man without wisdom is like a beautiful flower without any fragrance. A clever man needs more wisdom. So here wisdom means clear perception, clear understanding, clear knowing. If you see any danger very clearly, seeing escaping the danger is a very immediate. If you are not very clear relating with your perception, you won't get any clear understanding. That's why have a clear picture of the world. So once you have tasted the taste of sky, you will forever look up. So here, when you are in a position, if you maintain the inner space, if you enjoy the inner space, then you may get more enjoyment to your life. If you are not knowing your inner consciousness, inner purity, then you won't get more happiness. So inner happiness comes from inner sky, inner purity. Inner purity is the most important thing for getting more creative activities. Nothing strengthens authority so much as a silence. So here, if you maintain silence means free from thought process, free from inner mind disturbance. If you maintain more silence psychologically, you may get more energy. As a well spent day brings happy sleep, so life well used brings happy death. So here, if you have lived a day very completely, very nicely, very authentic manner, very good manner, you may get more good sleep. So at the same time, Leonardo da Vinci, philosopher who born in Italy, who painted world famous paintings, who is a world famous painter, great person, he's telling, if you lived, if you spent your life very nicely, life will use brings happy death. So if you use your day very nicely, then you may get more sleep. If you enjoy your life very nicely, very perfectly, with a momentary moment, energetic manner, you may get a happy death also. So beautiful, beauty, precious in life, but is immortal in art. If you create any art, it may be a more permanent than the temporary painting beauty. So he's telling, who is a poor man? He said, I am not poor. Poor are those who desire more many things. So he said the discrimination between a poor man and a rich man. A person who has a more desires, um, more expectations, more ambitions is a poor man. According to Leonardo da Vinci, a person who has no desires, a person who has a very, very less desires is a rich man. So he is telling the richness and the poorness depends upon the state of the desires, the state of the expectations in the mind. If you have no any expectation, if you have no any desires, if you are not desiring, craving anything, you are a rich man in the world psychologically. If you are expecting more in the world, you have more desires, ambitions, greeds, attachment, expectations, you are craving for many things, you are so poor. So here he is telling, a person who is expecting is a poor man. A person who is living without any expectation, with a free mind, is a rich man. Average human beings looks without seeing, listens without hearing, touches without feeling, eating without tasting, moves without physical awareness, inhales without awareness or odors or fragrance, takes without thinking. So here, relating with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, skin, seeing, listening, smelling, tasting, touching, these are sources of knowledge, gates of perception. At the same time, these are the sources for experiences of human life. These sense organs are the sources for beautiful, ugly, happy, unhappy. So all experiences are coming from the sense perceptions. So if you give more attention relating with your sense perception. You may get experience. You may get authentic understanding about many things. If you live without more attention relating with eating, tasting, or smelling, seeing, touching, or many other activities. So he's telling seeing, hearing, touching, eating, and smelling. So you have to focus more attention, then you may get more understanding about the life. So he is telling, I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply, you see. So if you know something, that is not enough. So here it is actually the point is a science and technology. So science is a knowing many principles, observations, factual facts with a theoretical manner. So here technology is a application of scientific principles for human life. So here he is telling, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. So if you know, you have to apply. If you decided do something, you have to do. If you decide, if you are not doing anything, you won't get. So doing is the most important. So here applying is the most important. With a practical manner only, you may get experience and learning. So the great geniuses sometimes accomplish more when they work less. So if anybody is working with a balanced manner, he may get more things. So he said about way of living. If you are alone, you belong entirely to yourself. If you are a solitude, if you are alone, if you are free from attachment, possessiveness, addiction, dependence, when you are totally silent, that is called aloneness. When you are alone, you are going to touch with your inner soul, then you may get more energy. So he is telling the value of the patience. Patience serves as a protection against wrongs as clothes do against cold. So in the cold area, if you have a strong and very powerful clothes, you may get a protection from the cold. At the same time, if you have a patience, then you may get freedom from doing wrong things. Nature is the source of true knowledge. Man's external form, marvelously constructed, is not much as compared with the divine soul that dwells inside that structure. So, human body is a beautifully constructed by the nature and the divinity, but you have another aspect that is called, that is a beyond beauty and expectation, that is a marvelous thing. So here in the philosophy of Leonardo da Vinci, he is telling, always learn, live with a simple manner. Wherever you are, you have to move with awareness. Experience is the most important. So don't have more desires, live with a simple manner. If you have a more desires, you are a poor man. If you have a very, very less desires, you are a rich man. So that's why there is a scope for you to become rich psychologically on the basis of awareness. If you are aware of your mind, you may clean your mind, you may purify your mind, you may keep all your memories in the brain cells silent manner, then you may get inner space. That inner space is a richness of human life. So I concluded this speech, Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your innovative keynote address. Now I am requesting our noble participant to interact with Professor Chennai, sir. Over to new our.
Amresh sir, I concluded the speech.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Dr. V. Bindu Madam, Sridhar, Dr. Sridhar sir, Dr. Kishore Kumar sir, Dr. Palvinder Kaur Madam, Binita Buyan Madam, please. Sir, actually, the Leonardo is an artist, na sir, and a philosopher also. Leonardo da Vinci is an artist.
So he has a many dimensions. That is a one dimension. So that is he's a multi-dimensional person. He's a scientist. He's an engineer. He's a world-famous painter. He's a world-famous philosopher. But the people are seeing only one face. So here you see, you have one face in the administration, you have one face in the morality, you have one face in the revolting outlook, one face in the social service, one face in the good expression. So in the human being, for example, your life also, you have many good dimensions relating with everything. So if I observe all your dimensions, I may say Amareswar is a multi-dimensional person. If one person is seeing only one person, so he may say Amareswar is a professor of education. That is the only one dimension. You have many dimensions. You are a researcher, you are a discoverer, you are a scientist, you are a creator, you are a good human being. So we need more awareness to see many dimensions. So here Leonardo da Vinci for the world is a world famous painter. So Mona Lisa, many painted, crores of rupees. So 500 years back he has painted, but he said beautifully about the philosophy also. So if you go with the unbiased manner, if you have no any preconceptions, if you go with a clean mind, we may know many things relating with many people. That's why he's telling, if you have an opinion about any person, you want to move without any opinion. Move with a clear mood, then only you will see many things. Amresh sir.
Extraordinary, excellent, sir, excellent. So, what type of life lessons for our participants from Leonardo, sir?
So okay, I will tell this answer at the end.
Painting, you need creativity, accuracy.
You ask some people. I will answer this question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Sudhakar Kottapalle, sir, is a doctorate under Professor Dayakar Reddy, sir, now working as an assistant professor. Sudhakar, Dr.
Amresh,
Sudhakar,
sir.
how are you?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sudhakar Kottapalle, are you listening? Okay, Hema madam, over to Hema madam.
So, Amresh sir, I will answer your question. I have not postponed any time your question. So here, relating with the life lessons of Leonardo da Vinci, is a painter, is a philosopher, is a scientist, is a engineer, is a many great things are there. So here his life lessons is live with a simple manner. What do you mean by simplicity? What is the simplicity lesson? What do you mean by simplicity? It is not taking food and not taking a sufficient clothes or everything. According to Leonardo da Vinci, it is a psychological sense. Don't have many ambitions, desires, attachment. Always simple. You just like a balloon. You see the balloon. There inside you find the air. You don't find any material or a stone or a matter or anything. If you find any material or a matter in the balloon, children are using balloons. Small balloons. So there we find the inner space in the balloon. So here Leonardo da Vinci also telling, live with a simple manner. If you expect something, always if you expect, sometimes you may get success, sometimes you may not get success. That's why be free from expectations. If you want to live with a joyful manner, live without any expectations and desires. That is a one sense. Another, so you have a extraordinary power for your mind. So learning should be there for your mind. If you have an interest, it may learn many things, many dimensions. It has unlimited energy. It has a unlimited power. It has a unlimited scope to know many aspects in the universe. That's why you have to give a great importance to your mind. Then you may learn. If you say you have a poor mind, your mind has no power. If you decide your mind has no memory power, if you conclude something, if you pass judgments to your mind, automatically your mind will become very dull. So if you give more powerful input, powerful expression, that you have a powerful mind, extraordinary memory power, extraordinary anything, you may know lakhs and crores of things. If you say great boost to your mind, it may learn many things. That's why don't underestimate your mind. Give more energy, more response, more energetic outlook to your mind. Then you may learn many things. It may not exhaust, it may not regret, it may not fear. It has an extraordinary power. Another is telling, so you have to learn many things with experience. Observation is the most important. Here we have to learn the great concepts relating with a poor man and a rich man. So a poor man is one who has many desires, many ambitions, many attachment, many worries. A rich man is one who has no desires, so very less desires. So he is always simple, pure, innocent. He is a rich man psychologically. How is a rich? When there is no desire, ambition, attachment, you may find a inner happiness, inner joy. If you have a more desires, you may not get happiness. You may get more worries on the basis of your expectation. That's why inner joy is your inner richness. Inner purity is your inner bliss. That's why clean your mind. Don't have more desires, have a less desire. Sometimes keep your mind always empty. Then you may get more joy and beauty. So through this type of mind only, he created paintings and everything. So he created paintings on the basis of inner creativity, inner joy. At the same time, he's telling, use your awareness as a light. So in the night time, all cities of the world, we find lights. Why? So for a tropic, for doing anything, we need light to do objects. In the same manner, we have an inner light that is there in our soul. Use your inner light to do all types of things, then your life will be very successful. So these are some of the life lessons we find in the Leonard Donancy Amritsar. Amritsar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sophia Ahmad, madam, do you have any query? Rajalakshmi Devi, madam. Dr. Kanika Das, sir. Anyone else?
So here, Amritsar, Leonard Donancy said, he's a scientist, he's an engineer, multidimensional painter, philosopher. Your entire life depends upon your mind. If you have a alertness, if you have a questioning outlook, if you have a enthusiasm, if you have a learning outlook, you may know. If you conclude that your mind is dead, your mind has no power, it has no anything. If you give something to negative command to your mind, it may get just hypnotized manner, it may go to dead position. So yes, I have no memory, I have no thinking. So if you say you are a very powerful, very energetic, very questionable, if you give more energy to your mind, it may ask 1,000 questions. So that's why he's telling, always alert in the mind is the most important thing. Here he's also telling, inquire, question, investigate. Okay, Amresh sir, please ask some people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sophia madam, Emma madam, Bindu madam, Kanika sir. Anyone else? Okay, I think they have poor network, sir. That's why they're unable to ask. So with your permission, may I go for presentation, sir?
Actually,
Sir.
finally, I will stay. So here, Leonard Donancy is telling, your future depends upon your actions. The fate of your actions depends upon the state of mind. He is telling, have a good health, good mind, good heart, good feelings. So you have to move. Another, he said, for a healthy way of life, for a divine way of life, you have to walk. You have to nature. Nature is the best teacher, is telling. You will find. So that's why we are getting energy from various types of sources, from the nature, our body, our inspiration. That's why. So he's a very powerful and enjoyable person. He's a great person for our world. So his teachings are very useful for our excellency and good way of life. Amaresh sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Dr.
Amaresh sir.
Alvinder Kaur madam, she wrote, sir has explained
Amaresh sir. Please
everything.
go.
Explained everything to so beautifully that no question arises. Madam Alvinder Kaur
So
madam, she
here,
wrote,
that is a conclusion. That is a conclusion. That is a good conclusion. Yes, sir. That is a good conclusion. That is a good understanding. But our logic, our questioning, our knowledge has a 360 degrees angle. So they may, if they see with a joyful and happy manner, they may conclude this is a beautiful one. But if you go in a different dimension in the mind, they may ask. So always use with a good mood. So sometimes we may get satisfaction for their answers. It is good. So we are appreciating for their good statement, Amresh sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. With your permission, may I go for presentation? Thank you, sir.
Please, sir.
So good evening to Professor Chennai sir and noble participants. How to get your first book published, top publishing tips, the outline of the presentation, introduction, learning outcome, conclusion. Before going to our actual topic, as usual, I would like to show 3 motivational videos. Even Professor Chennai sir, the type of mind, whatever thought in your mind you may be. So how to calm your mind? Buddha story. Just I'm enhancing the volume. Yes. Just I'm enhancing the volume. Yes, almost.
Once upon a time, Buddha with his followers was traveling from one town to another town. While traveling, they walked by a lake. After some time, they all stopped there to rest. After all settled down, one of his disciples asked him, "How can we calm our mind when we have disturbing thoughts?" Buddha was sitting under a tree and said to him, "I am feeling thirsty. Can you bring me some water from that lake?" Disciple walked back to lake and noticed that some people were washing clothes. He walked to some distance to get clean water, but as he was going to collect water, a bullock cart passed by and water became muddy. Disciple waited, but one or other things were going on and water was still muddy. So he thought to himself that he can't give such muddy water as it is not fit to drink. So he decided to go back without water. Disciple came back empty-handed and told Buddha about it. After 1 hour, Buddha asked him to go back to lake and bring some water. Disciple went back to lake, and this time he was able to find clean water. He filled pot with water and brought it back to Buddha. Disciple gave water to Buddha and said, "Last time I went there was lot of mud in water, but now water on the surface of lake was clean." "How?" Buddha replied, "When you went last time, mud was unsettled and it was mixed with water, and water became unfit to drink. But when you went after an hour, mud settled down on its own, and you got clean water that was fit for drinking. You asked me question in the morning about how to calm our mind when we have disturbing thoughts. Our mind is also like that lake. When it is full of thoughts, it is like muddy water. You have to give it some time to settle down on its own. You don't have to put effort to calm it, and with your mind will be calm effortlessly." We see in our life, people always complain that they are not able to concentrate while meditation. That is because they keep on trying hard to stop thoughts going on in their mind during meditation. The more effort they put in, the more thoughtful their mind becomes. But they forget that you don't have to put effort to calm your mind. You just need to give it some time. And with time, your mind will be calm effortlessly. This is Words of Wisdom Stories. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.
Right. So another motivational video, 8 rules of Zen philosophy. So what are those 8 rules for happy and healthy life? Please watch.
In the heart of wisdom and serenity, we find the timeless teachings of Soyen Shaku, the first Zen teacher to grace the shores of America. His words echo through the ages, guiding us towards a life of mindfulness and purpose. Rule 1. Begin each day with intention. Before the world claims your attention, take a moment to light incense and meditate. Let your thoughts settle like ripples in a pond, and embrace the stillness within. Rule 2. Nourish your body and soul. Retire at a regular hour. Partake of food mindfully and eat in moderation. Let your meals be a symphony of gratitude and self-care. Rule 3. Embrace all moments equally. Greet a guest with the same presence you hold when alone. Maintain this balance, where solitude and companionship dance harmoniously. Rule 4. Harness the power of your words. Watch what you say, and let your speech be a reflection of your intentions. Practice what you utter, weaving a tapestry of authenticity. Rule 5. Seize the tapestry of life. When opportunity knocks, open the door without hesitation. Yet, like a master weaver, pause and consider the threads of your choices before taking the next step. Peace. Let go of regrets that weigh you down. Look ahead with clarity and purpose, like an artist painting the strokes of their destiny. Rule 7. Embrace your inner hero. Love with a child's heart. Let your spirit be fearless, like a hero on a noble quest. And let your heart be as tender as a child's, nurturing compassion and empathy in all you do. Rule 8. The art of transitioning. When you retire to rest, let it be as if you are surrendering to the universe's embrace. And when you awaken, rise like a phoenix, leaving yesterday behind. Sleep as if you had entered your last sleep. Upon awakening, leave your bed behind you instantly, as if you had cast away a pair of old shoes. As we journey through life, may we weave these Zen rules into the tapestry of our existence. Let Soyen Shaku's wisdom guide us towards a life of purpose, mindfulness, and deep fulfillment. You see in life, in your life. Embrace the fire in your heart, and let your eyes mirror the calm of ashes. Welcome to a life transformed.
Right. The last video, where should I do? So again, another Zen stories.
The bell rang. All the students ran to their classrooms, and so did Zawa. It was Zawa's first day at school. He had never been to school before in his life. Zawa was 15 years old. He was born to a woodcutter named Kayu. Both Zawa and Kayu lived on the hill. In his initial years, Zawa helped his father to cut the wood in the hilltops. This wood was sold in the city to run their family and also to keep them warm in their hut. Due to extreme poverty, Kayu could not afford to send his son to school, although he dreamt of it always. Zawa had always been helping his father and also learned the woodcutter's work. He was perfect to sharpen the axe and hit the tree at the right spots. He never had friends and never had been to the city. From his birth till now, he was only cutting trees and carrying wood. One day, Kayu told Zawa about his plans to send him to school. "What is a school?" asked Zawa. Kayu laughed and pointed to the red building down the hill. "That is a school, and you will get education there. With education, you will become intelligent and find better work than this," replied Kayu. Not sure Zawa understood what his father meant. He just nodded a blank yes. He had no idea if there exists a better work than cutting and carrying wood, as he had never seen any, while living at the hilltop. So one day Zawa was sitting in the classroom with all the new kids. The teacher entered the room and everyone greeted in respect. Zawa did as the others did. The teacher announced that today every student had to tell the whole class what their ambition in life was. Zawa had never heard the word ambition before in his life. He was just told by his father that he would learn something at school. So all the students got up one by one. Someone's ambition was to be a pilot. The other one wanted to be a doctor. Another one again an engineer or a soldier, and so on. But Zawa, he had no clue. When his turn came, he stood blank. The teacher asked Zawa what his ambition in life was, and Zawa asked the teacher, "Teacher, what is ambition?" The whole class bursted out laughing. The teacher silenced the class and explained to Zawa that ambition was something that he wanted to achieve in life, something that he wanted to do, or something that he wanted to become. Zawa still stood blank. All his life he had chopped and carried wood. He had no idea that there was something called ambition, in which he had to get something, which was supposed to be far from him, as per the definition of ambition given to him. Zawa replied slowly, "I don't have ambition. I cut wood and carry branches from hill trees with my father. We work during the day, eat in the evenings, and sleep during the night. There is nothing more than that. I and my father achieve all that we plan in the morning by the night." The whole class started laughing again. The teacher silenced the class again. Of course, Zawa was not telling a lie, and the children were just conditioned to laugh at anything that wasn't something that they knew. So the teacher told Zawa, "You must have an ambition. Without ambition, you are a goalless person, an empty person, who is lacking any sense of direction." So Zawa went deep into thoughts. He stood blank. He couldn't understand why the teacher was asking him to imagine something, a goal or a destination. It made no sense to him. All his life he thought that cutting wood in the morning and sleeping at night is all that there had to be done. There was nothing else to be done. And now he was being told that there was something else to be done, which had not been done yet, and he must do it because he was born without it and he must get it. The teacher continued, "You have to walk the path, Zawa. You have to work hard. If you continue to work hard, one day you will surely reach your destination." But Zawa asked, "What road? What destination?" The teacher got impatient. "The road to your ultimate goal, your destination, your real home." Zawa thought to himself, "Why am I being asked to walk hard on a road to go to a place where I don't want to go? They call this place a goal, a destination. They think everyone must keep walking on that road to reach that place. But what if I do not want to reach my goal? What if I do not want to reach the destination? I don't even know how far it is. How do I know? And if I reach there, how do I know that I am there? Do I sit and keep waiting, or do I get bored and move beyond it? Or do I walk back to where I started? I don't feel I have to walk so far to a place which does not look any more beautiful than my hilltop house. Is it compulsory for everyone to walk to their goals? What about people who choose not to? Are they called directionless? But what does it matter if someone is already at his destination? Is that a horrible idea, to be at your destination without walking a path of difficulty and pain? The students kept giggling as Zawa looked immersed in his thoughts. The teacher continued, "Zawa, you don't have any goal?" "Yes, I do," Zawa replied suddenly. There was a big smile on the teacher's face. His student finally had gotten the message. "So what is your ambition? What is your goal? What is your destination, Zawa?" the teacher asked with curiosity. Zawa replied, looking outside of the window, as if a deep imagination was going on in his mind. He said, "I want to cut the wood in the morning, drink my tea in the evening, and sleep at night." And the teacher said, "No, that is not an ambition, Zawa, because you are already doing it." Zawa replied, "Yes, isn't that great? Because I have already reached my destination." The teacher got angry and dismissed the class. Zawa looked confused and unanswered. That night, Zawa told his father, Kayu, what had happened at school. "Father, we are cutting the wood from the trees, which are already there. But the school is telling me to cut the wood from the trees which are not there. They are asking everyone to first grow a tree, wait for it to grow up, and then cut the wood, something which we are doing right now without growing one." Kaya laughed at the intelligent feedback of such a simple question. He asked Zawa how he felt about his life. Zawa was happy chopping wood because that is all he had done. He found satisfaction and happiness in his work. But the new word at school, called ambition, was supposed to be telling him that happiness and satisfaction were not to be felt so easily, but after a lot of hard work and pain. You can never be already at your goal at the start of your life. And calmness is always to be away from you, and you must walk that path to reach those feelings, only to realize that when you reach there, there isn't anything there, and you could have all those feelings from any point in your journey or without a journey itself. Tell them what they want to hear, Zawa. They also have ambitions to be successful teachers, Kayo said laughingly, and left his son alone to ponder his thoughts at night on the hilltop. The next day at school, Zawa was the first student to continue from where the teacher had finished the day before. "I thought about it, and I feel I want to be a doctor," said Zawa. The teacher gave a big smile and clapped for Zawa as he took his seat, and the class continued. Zawa looked out of the window. He saw it was raining and gray clouds growled in the sky. The clouds never moved in one direction, they just moved. The rain did not fall in any direction, it just rained. The grass didn't grow in any pattern, it just grew. None of these elements in nature looked as if they had a plan. They were just being themselves, true to their real nature. Then he saw a gardener cutting the grass into a beautiful design to give it a shape. He realized that humans couldn't live with nature without changing it. And humans themselves are a part of that nature, ironically. You see in life, in your life, is there really a path for you to walk? Is there a goal for you to reach? Are you cutting the grass in a design, Or are you just letting the grass of life grow? Are you letting the rain of life rain? Are you letting the tree of life grow? It's okay to have ambitions, and it's okay to be happy where you are right now. Life is continuously evolving. New things are discovered, new ways of life are discovered every day, every second in this universe. This is Dare to Do Motivation, stories. Thank you so much for watching. And
Very nice. So this story we can take for our topic, the learning outcome, learning top publishing tips. There are n number of authors. They simply started to write something. They never thought they become great writers, but they become. So this is the way. Sometimes whatever you are doing, do with a like mind, love mind, be like a nature, be like a grass. There are a number of ways philosophers, Professor Chennai sir rightly mentioned so many things. Here, this is a word cloud of publishing. You can see here literature, brand, gender, publishing role, social media marketing, information communication technology, independent bookshops, internet management, and number of communication model, apps, digital magazine, transmedia storytelling, digital developments, book festivals, art collection, and number of things related to publishing or publication. There are 5 ways here. The self-publishing journey, how you can, the 5 steps. Write your book. This is general, but we are going from general to specific, specific to general, part to whole, whole to part, specific. Edit your book, design book cover, format your book, publish and distribute. This is simple. But before going to write, what to write, when to write, why to write, who, how to write. So 5 W's, 1 H. Whether to write fiction or novel or stories or crime, so many things. So 5 tips for writing your first book. Those who are maybe planning to write any book, these are the tips. Even if you are totally clueless. Number 1, practice your writing skills before you start writing an entire book. Book is a sometimes a number of chapters, so each chapter number of pages, so each page again a number of paragraphs, within para again lines and words, sentence and words. So it's always, if you see everything, you cannot write at the same time 2 letters. Is it possible anyone to write at the same time 2 letters? No. After completion of 1 letter only, you are moving to second letter. In such a way, how it is possible to think everything at the same time? You need an outline. Only thing you go step by step. Number 2, learn from your favorite books as well as books that you did not like. Certain things, after seeing books, maybe you think that I don't want to publish like this, the way they're written is not good. So there are so many books. Maybe in your real life, your daily life, you visited a library, digital library, and physically also. So there are some books, maybe it is a catchy, the titles, content, and the way of nowadays the textbooks. During my childhood, 91, 96, my class 6 to class 10, almost textbooks are in black and white only. But nowadays, students are reading color textbooks. And accept that you have a lot to learn even if you have been writing for long. So earlier, newspapers, online newspapers, only text and images. But now, if you go through any online newspaper, they are giving videos also. BBC channels, Enadu, Telugu, and Hindu, Indian Times of India, and number of almost all newspapers. They are giving video content, and sometimes if you select the option, it can read text to read option. No need to read by yourself. Simply select the option. You can relax. You can listen. There are and audiobooks. So there are so many ways. Not only one way of publishing. Follow the steps of someone who's written books before so you don't get lost in the process. Finally, remember that writing a great book is all about great editing. Write, rewrite, edit, re-edit. So this is re. I like in English word re is very, very important. So relearn, reuse, recycle, remember, everything re means again and again. There are how to write your first book, 6 essential steps. Step number 1, decide whether you want to write fiction or non-fiction. Still, I remember during my childhood, some friends, is Kasolu, his name Kasolu Reddy, is wonderful, always listening music, songs. While listening the song, he himself, this is directed by someone. So even I was new for those type of producer, director. Simply, song means listening bass. Who is a musician, singer, no need to think, but he has that much specific. So here, fiction or non-fiction. Step 2, your book idea and create an outline. So my first duty to give the chapterization for dissertation and PhD scholars. Chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 review of literature, chapter 3 methodology, chapter 4 data analysis and interpretation, chapter 5 major findings, summary and conclusion, and recommendations. Then the title chapters and bibliography or references, appendices, and number of total in my brain, which one comes first, which one comes next. Step 3, format your manuscript with margins. Actually, whenever in general the dissertation or PhD, Times New Roman, double font, 1.5 or double space and a single site. So n number of things, APA, 7th edition. The same way for any book, you're supposed to follow, and grammar and spelling also, the American English or British English. Step 4, begin writing your manuscript. Remember, you are writing your first draft, so it does not have to be perfect. So unfortunately, maximum writers, maximum scholars, they want to write extraordinary article, extraordinary book in the first time itself. No. You can remember in movies, whenever someone trying to write a love letter, not in a position to satisfy, writing something, again throwing, again writing, throwing, like that, more than 10 times, 20 times. To write a small letter, if you want to write a book, how many times you want to rewrite, how many times you want to edit. So it is always better do again and again. Perfection, excellency never comes easily and quickly, but we have a low passion. It is we want to do immediately, quickly. So many scholars, teachers, they always ask me, sir, how to publish articles immediately, quickly. I want this number of articles within this time. My God, it is not possible for me. You can approach someone else. Step 5, after completing your first draft, you should self-edit. Read your manuscript aloud and do a basic grammar and spell check. Grammarly app is also available. Even grammar and spelling check in MS Office F7, if you press, automatically window will open. You can select. There are n number of ways. Even some people are also doing pay and use. Step 6, decide between self-publishing and traditional publishing. What are the steps in traditional publishing? Write a book or proposal. Query here literary agents. Your agent submits to publishing houses. Sign the book deal. Start editing and pre-production. Start signing books. This one actually, Abhisruti Gogoi, niece of Dr. Srutasini Gogoi Madam, she published 2 best novels and award-winning novels. She got so many awards also. Recently, the book release function also held in Guwahati at the age of 20 only. She is 19 and 20, but she, during COVID time, means almost 3 years back, means at the age of 16, she wrote very nicely. They spent the time utilized. So there are so many ways when to write also. Some people maybe morning time, some people maybe evening. That is not a matter. When your brain, mind, maybe you feel comfortable. How to get your book published? 9 actions. Number 1, finish and edit your manuscript before firing. So edit, re-edit. And compare traditional publishing pros and cons, create publishing plan and revisit it often. So when to publish, you maybe a plan. So if you see the Valmiki, Vyasa and the others, extraordinary, how many stanzas, slokas they written, my God. So if Vyamana Sataka, even Sumati, Kabir, Rahim, so many, not only in Telugu, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali, Assamese, and number of Indian languages and foreign. Know your generic title and categories. Compare what works in the here. There are n number of ways. Even to publish, sometimes you want to spend money, pay and use. So budget for any non-publishing expenses. Sometimes the Discovery publication, some other APH publication, Indian publishers, they're charging some amount. They're giving 10 to 15 copies like that. If it is reasonable, you can do it. You are the one to preserve your own writings. It is not wrong things. Pay and use is not a wrong thing, but you need to do the quality work. Write query, letter, goal, if going the traditional routes, track progress and compare page outcomes, keep abreast of popping news and trends. Nowadays, social media is a number of ways. Someone is going to publish, simply they can post in social media. Those who are interested, they can purchase. There are a number of ways. How to write a book and get it published. There are 10 ways here. Find a strong idea that the 5 elements of story: who, what, why, where, when, to create. Entering. Create a research document containing information such as facts about characters, positions. You see the serials, especially whenever I have time, when I visit home, family members, they watch serials. They last always suspend they to continue watching for next day, next episode. The way they are doing, my God. Sometimes the heartbeat also increases. Create a plot outline that gives you an overview of what will happen in your novel and when. So in movies are also Bahubali 1, Bahubali 2. You can set a deadline for finishing your novel. One that gives you time to your story justice. And revise your novel, clarifying elements such as sentence, structure, and ambiguous pronouns, and hire a skilled editor. This is really already I informed Professor Srikant Sir, political science in Northeastern Hill University. He said, so editor duty editing. So we are not expert to edit, we are academicians. If you are going to publish a good book or journal article or any book chapter, better to take, never hesitate to take help of the editor. You can pay and use at the same, because they are the skilled one. When you are constructing your house, you cannot construct, you can invest. The same way, when you are going to publish, you cannot do everything. You can write, but remaining things they can do. Rewrite the first page to hook readers and the last to leave a lingering impression. Make your title stand so always catchy. By seeing title itself, sometimes read through submission guidelines. Maximum people. So while publishing in the Lab Lambert or APH or some other publishers, they have given guidelines. It is our duty to read, submit, and make sure your query is personalized. And 10th one, keep submitting. Don't give up if your manuscript is turned down. Really, this is under elsewhere publication. Old I published in the year 2010, immediately after my PhD. Was Education in India and China, Old Affairs Journal. It's a high-ranked journal, maximum of senior professors, vice chancellor, they publish. But I approached them first time, second time after editing, they published. By seeing my interest, even they given more than 2 years free subscription also. There are so many ways. I think okay. Right. So there are 10 tips, right? And self-publish your first book, set goals and stick to them, organize your thoughts, write and stay focused, edit, proofread and edit again, design and publish, launch with some noise, give away free ebooks, price properly, partner with other ebooks writers, develop a marketing plan. One of our teachers in IFLU, Shillong, she published one book I have seen in Professor Streamlitaka Kasi Department, Professor Chamba, actually more than 500 pages, but maybe because of lack of publishing knowledge, they given double space. If they, and they put 500 pages, 500 rupees. If they reduce to single line space, there may be a cost we can give within a 200 to 300 rupees. So size of the book is also, some people, they can run away after seeing the size. So it is better how to publish, even the design format, publishing your book, submit proposal, internal editorial review, external peer review, again, response to peer review, contract, writing your book, manuscript submission, production, sales and marketing, and public. So proposal to publication. Again, there are top 10 tips for open access publishing. Number one, each manuscript is unique. So we cannot compare one manuscript with the other. Everything has its own strength and limitations. Check with your publisher and decide before submission. Collect all funders. Sometimes fund, even ICSSR is giving for publication of articles, publication of your thesis. They have special grant is also available. Research funders policies, identify most restrictive elements of funder policies as guide, identify journals that fit, and understand cost and funding options, communicate a plan to the publisher, check with the funder, check with the publisher. There are 13 easy steps to write a book. Think and finalize the book topic. Find the why of your book, why to write, why to attend this program. So we can also learn and relearn, we can share, establish your target audience, access your expertise in the chosen topic, interview the right set of people, research the important topics, start writing, write regularly, talk to more authors, finalize a title and other important elements, keep editing, take feedbacks, prepare your book for submission, trial. Trialing method is really wonderful. The way how you can edit to make a nice dress to prepare. So you or me, anyone supposed to be a trialer in our research work. Don't do this. Before going to some more other tips, there are some tips in education, negative learning. If you are telling do this, at the same time you can tell don't do this, do's and don'ts. Don't do this. Everything you need to know when writing a book for the first time.
Hi, aspiring writers, writing coach Stephanie Newell, and this is the Life of a Writer channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing everything I wish I'd known before writing my first book. you want to learn how to connect with readers and sell more books, make sure to subscribe as I post new writing videos every Tuesday. So a few months ago, I sent out an email to my mailing list asking if anyone had any questions that they'd like to see answered in an upcoming video. And Lance responded by asking this. What's the best advice as a writer that you wish you knew when you were just starting out? And what's a harsh, blunt reality about anything that concerns writing that you can say for beginners? Now, this is a video that I wanted to do for a really long time because as a writing coach, a lot of what I share with my clients is based on my own personal journey, some of the successes that I've had, and then some of the mistakes that I've made as well. So I really wanted to do this video because it will help those of you who are starting on your writing journey to start on the right footing. And so let's get started with a few of the things that I wish I'd known prior to writing my first book. Keep it simple. Now, this is going to be one of those things that you hear me saying a lot more on this channel, and that's only because I find that a lot of aspiring writers overcomplicate the process of writing a book. Now, don't get me wrong, writing a book can be a complicated process because writing is a long and arduous task, and there's a lot of things and a lot of aspects of writing that you need to learn as a first-time writer. With that being said, I want you guys to know what the process entails, but I don't want you to get so caught up in the details that you overcomplicate it and make yourself overwhelmed. So for example, of course you need to know whether or not you're going to self-publish or traditionally publish before you write the book. You also need to know and be very clear on your genre and your target audience before you write your book. But once you have that information lined up, I want you to just focus on one step at a time. And that makes the process a lot simpler, and it makes it easier for you to make it to your finish line of becoming a published author. Doing things in the wrong order can cost you time and money. Now, this is one of the mistakes that I made and a lot of my clients make, and it mainly comes around the editing part of working on your book. So once you finish your first draft, a lot of first-time authors feel like, okay, I'm ready to publish. But the truth of the matter is that we never publish a first draft. A first draft is just that. It's all of your rough cut ideas onto your computer, and you need to have someone else, either a beta reader or a writing coach such as myself that does manuscript critiques. You need someone else to look at your manuscript and provide you with feedback on the areas in which you can improve your manuscript. Even as a person that has been writing for a very long time, I still have someone look over my manuscript or my screenplays or whatever it is that I'm working on and provide me with feedback so that I know how I can improve what I've written. And the reason why this is important is that this is your viewpoint of what you've written. Of course, you're going to think what you've written is really good. You're going to think that it provides all the information for the reader. However, there may be things that you missed and that you don't know you need to include or areas that you can improve. So I really encourage you to do things in the right order, because what happens is if you get your book edited early, then you end up having to get your book edited more than one time. And this has happened to several of my clients. They spend hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars on editing, only to bring their manuscript to me, and then I can find areas that they can improve their manuscript and bring themselves to a better final draft before they get their book edited. So to alleviate doing things in the wrong order and costing yourself time and money, I encourage you to download my writer's checklist, where I walk first-time writers step by step through the process of writing their first book. Consistency is key. So this is one of those pieces of advice that I'm sure you've heard other professional writers share, as well as other experts within the publishing industry. And sometimes when you have super simple advice, it makes it very easy not to actually implement that advice. But this is one of those pieces of advice that I'm going to tell you, if you are a consistent writer, it makes the writing process a lot easier. For one, you gain momentum. And as you know, with anything, if you gain momentum, it really encourages you to continue to go after your goal. It helps you to stay motivated and on task with your writing goals. Also, by being consistent, it helps you to get more proficient in areas where you may not have been as strong, such as spelling or grammar or creating characters. Also, it allows you to be more creative, because if you're coming back to that writing on a consistent basis, whether that's every single day or a couple of days a week, it allows you to be more creative in your writing process. So I'm really going to encourage you to be more consistent in your writing. Writing a book is hard, but selling it is even more challenging. So this is one of those harsh, blunt realities that Lance asked me about in his question. And while you are going through the process of actually writing your book, it is very challenging. Don't get me wrong. However, what you'll find once you get on the other side of actually completing your manuscript is the process of actually selling your book and selling it consistently is also something that you need to learn. So that is a harsh reality, that you not only have to learn how to write a book, but you have to also learn how to sell it. Don't get overwhelmed by advice. Now, this is one of those areas where I personally struggled as a first-time writer because I'm the type of person by nature, if I'm taking on a new project, I love to do research and fully understand it before I take it on. So that'll mean that I'm reading books and watching YouTube videos and reading blogs and websites. And sometimes, as a result of doing so much research, you can find yourself getting overwhelmed by what you are reading, especially if the advice contradicts from one person to the other. So do I follow this person, or do I follow this person, or do I take a combination of what they're saying and try it all? And that can be very overwhelming. So for example, when I was first starting to write, there were a lot of people suggesting that you need to write every single day, like literally 7 days a week you need to be writing. Well, that advice did not resonate with me because I was working a full-time job, I was going to school full-time, and I was a parent, and writing every day was just not something that I could actually do. So I tended to feel overwhelmed by the advice because I'm like, okay, well, if I can't follow that piece of the advice, will I be able to follow the rest? So what I'm going to recommend to you guys is to find someone that resonates with you, especially in your beginning stages. That doesn't mean that you can't, take advice from multiple people, because there are so many different people who are sharing their journeys, and their journeys are beneficial to you, especially depending on what genre you write. So I encourage you to find someone that resonates with you. You may find someone that has a very similar lifestyle to you. Maybe they're very busy and they're not able to write every day. Maybe their advice may resonate better with you. But you want to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with so much advice that you cannot implement anything. Start marketing your book while you're writing your book. Now, this is one of those pieces of advice that I did not know initially when I first started writing my book, but I wish I would have known it, because it makes the actual selling of your book a lot easier if you have a target audience of people that you've already been marketing to. And I think this is, again, one of those pieces of advice where it's very simple not to listen, because you're so focused on writing the actual book that you're like, okay, I'm going to focus on writing my book and I'll work on the marketing piece later. But it's very important to understand that those two things go together. So if you're writing your book for a year, that will give you 1 year of time where you're actually marketing to the target audience that you're looking to later sell to. Don't be afraid to see what other writers are doing within the genre that you write. Now, this is a really interesting one, because I had a conversation just last week with one of my clients where I was asking him, had he read any books within his genre, and he said that he had not. And I made the recommendation that he read at least 3 to 5 books so that he would get an idea of the conventions of that genre, and he could also see what his competition is doing, because ultimately the books that are currently on Amazon are going to be your competition. And so what he said to me is that he didn't really want to do that because he felt like he didn't want to unintentionally borrow from other authors. And I totally could relate to that, because that's also how I initially felt when I was writing my first book. But I've since changed my mind on that, because it's so important that you know what other people are doing, because you don't want to step outside or too far outside of what other people are doing within the genre. So I always talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I always talk about how important it is to know your genre and know your target audience. But as a first-time writer, and especially if you've never read a book within the genre, you need to at least go on Amazon, and you can either purchase 3 to 5 books, or you can use the look inside feature of 3 to 5 books and see how they introduce their characters, see how they introduce their books, see how they introduce their plot. All of those things will be helpful to you in the long run, so that you can actually write a book that can compete with other books within the genre. So what I really want you to take away from this video.
Right. So 10 steps to publish your first book. What are those steps? You can listen from the author.
In this video, I will show you the step-by-step process for publishing your book. Step number 1 is to write and revise your book. Now, I know this sounds obvious, but it's important that you have a finished version of your manuscript before you start the publishing process. Once you have written your manuscript, make sure that you have revised it and edited carefully so that it can be the best version possible. Step number 2 is to choose a self-publishing platform. So once you have a completed and polished book, you need to choose a self-publishing platform to publish your book through. Now, there are a lot of different choices, including Amazon Kindle Direct, Ingram Spark, and also Lulu. Making a decision is really going to be dependent on your goals as a writer. Step number 3 is to format your book. So once you've chosen a self-publishing platform, you want to make sure that your book is properly formatted and ready for publication. Format your book to look like a book. So prior to this step, you're probably writing your manuscript in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, and it was just looking like a document. This is the step where you can use software such as Kindle Create or even templates to format your book to actually look like a book. So if you're interested in using Amazon's Kindle Create, I will also link that in the description box below. Step number 4, create a book cover. So a professionally designed book cover is an important step in the self-publishing process. A well thought out book cover can help your book to stand out from the competition. Create a book cover yourself by using a design software such as Canva, or you can hire a professional graphic designer. And if you want to get my insight on some of the most frequently asked self-publishing questions that aspiring authors just like you are asking, make sure to download my free self-publishing Q&A. I'll make sure to link that in the description box as well. Step number 5, upload your book. So once you have a properly formatted book and you have a book cover, you're ready to upload your book to the platform of your choice. Now, each platform has a unique set of instructions, so I recommend taking your time, reading through their instructions, and uploading your book carefully. Step number 6 is to set your book's price and royalty option. So once your book is uploaded to the platform, you want to choose the royalty option that works best for your book. Step number 7 is to publish your book. So once you have set your book's price and royalty options, it's time for your book to go live, which basically means that it's published and is ready to be purchased by your target audience. Each platform has its own instructions for publishing, so again, make sure to read the steps very carefully before publishing. Step number 8 is to set up your author profile. So in addition to publishing your book, a lot of the self-publishing platforms will allow you to set up an author profile. So for example, with Amazon, they have Amazon Author Central, which allows readers to get access to your previous books. This will allow readers to learn more about you and your other books, and it will allow you to get more visibility on the platform. Step number 9 is to promote your book. So once your book is published, it's time to start promoting your book to readers. There are many different ways to promote your book, including using social media, setting up a website, and reaching out to book bloggers and reviewers. Step number 10 is to monitor your sales and reviews. So once your book is published, your work is not done. You still need to monitor your sales and your reviews. This will give you an idea of how well your book is selling and what people are saying about your book. And keep in mind that most self-publishing platforms provide tools for sales and reviews.
Right. So this is really wonderful, how to get your past book published, top or publishing tips, future long. I did, I think, more than 500 MOOC courses from this single platform. I received 7 Future Learn Awards also while doing 7 programs. Here, there are NROs. Want to publish a book? Discover tips on self-publication, the process of finding a literary agent and submitting a book proposal. There are n number of us. Should I self-publish? Ways to self-publish your first book, print on demand, e-book publication, self-printing, audiobook publication. So there are n number of ways. I can share this link with all of you. If you are interested, you can go through it. So you can download and keep this link with all of you. Actually, Palvinder Kaur madam, you texted it is not audible. Actually, your internet is maybe a weak. Already I checked in the YouTube also. It is very nicely audible. please check your internet. Right. So should I self-publish? There are two alternatives for new authors looking to publish their first fiction or non-fiction book. One option is sign a standard publishing contract. A literary agent usually facilitates such an agreement, which provides the publisher exclusive rights to print and distribute the work. An author collaborates with a publishing house editor to complete a set number of revisions. The publishing house has the last say on whether or not the novel is published. So 4 ways to self-publish your first book. Number 1, print on demand, in which copies of book are only printed when someone orders. Professor Streamlit again I'm telling, she is doing on this print on demand way. Ebook publication, it's even easier to supply digital copies. Nowadays, Sales, Springer Nature, and number of Tyler and Francis, they're all publishing ebooks and self-printing. You can self-publish. Ajara Mohan Rai and this Lap Lamberts, you can do by yourself. Audiobook publication also. Novels are widely nowadays n number of audiobooks. Even this is also good business. People are purchasing audiobooks. You can purchase, simply click it and you can relax. You can do whatever you want. You can simply listen. So this type of things are also getting your book published through the traditional process. This one, how to find an editor. There are a number of editorial services are also available. How to find your book's target audience. If you post in the social media, you will get where. So for journals, for researchers or academicians, for you, the citations, who are cited by seeing, you can understand who are reading your text, how to write a proposal for a book, how to submit book to publishers. There are n number of recently Nabhami Gogoi from Assam, madam, she asked how to approach her actually aunt. She wants to publish book. So there are n number of ways to publish your books. So this is the simple way we can. And some other very important video, self-publishing tutorial. So this is also wonderful video. After watching only, I'm sharing with all of you certain things. If you watch video, you can learn very easily, quickly, and simply. This is the reason behind to show videos in the workshops, self-publishing tutorials.
Step 1 is editing. So before you publish your book to Amazon, you want to make sure that your book is properly edited. And that means that you have gone through a minimal of 2 different types of edit. One is developmental editing, which is a service that I offer. Developmental editing looks at your writing voice, the structure, the pacing, how your book is doing as it relates to the target audience that you're writing for, as well as the genre. And it also answers any big picture questions that you have about your book. The second type of editing is copy editing. So this is going to look at things such as spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Step number 2 is copyright. So as soon as you start writing and press save on your manuscript is automatically copywritten. However, if you are looking for an official copyright, you can go to the U.S. Copyright Office and make it a public record. Oh, and if you want to download these 10 simple steps in PDF format, make sure to click the link in my description box. Step number 3, keywords and categories. So once you get ready to upload your book to Amazon, one of the questions that they ask you is what categories and keywords relate to your book. Now, a mistake that a lot of first-time writers make is that they'll just choose a keyword or randomly choose a category. This is a research step that you should be taking by going on Amazon and researching what are the best keywords that are going to get you the most visibility for your book. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that in this video because I do have a prior video where I walk you through exactly how to find find the best keywords and categories for your book. Step number 4 is formatting. So this is a very fun step because this is the step where your book starts to look like a book. And you want to give thought to a couple of different things once you get to this step. The first thing is how do you want your inside text to look? What kind of fonts do you want to use? What type of header and footer do you want for your book? What do you want to include in your front matter? Things such as your acknowledgement, your copyright page, all of those different things go in the front matter. What do you want to put in your back matter? Things such as your bio, maybe even additional books that you've written, those types of things go in your back matter. But you also want to give thought in this stage to the size of your book, because this is a factor that is going to be important not only for the inside of your book, but also the cover. So one way to do this is to go to books that are already on your bookshelf, figure out what sizes you're interested in, maybe even look at books within your genre. So you don't want to choose a book size that is not common for the genre that you're writing in. For example, I have my book right here, and one of the things that I did was I found books that were very similar to this book, and then I just took a measuring tape and measured it. Step number 5 are the book description and bio. So these are 2 documents that you need to have when you're ready to publish. Now, with regards to the book description, I recommend having both a longer version of your book description as well as a shorter version. This way you have 2 different options, one for your book cover and then one for your Amazon page. I also recommend that you use some of those keywords that you determined were related to your book in an earlier step and include those where possible within your book description. The second document that you want to have is a bio. So you want to have a short bio that talks about who you are, why you're qualified to write on this subject matter, any bragging points that you may have, and you're going to use this bio for the inside of your book as well as the back cover of your book and also on your Amazon page. Step number 6 is book cover design, which is another fun step because it also gives you another opportunity to be creative. What images are you going to use? So of course, most of us will have a headshot that we include on the back cover, but you may also include images on your front cover that relate to the subject matter that you're writing on. So you can use stock images, you can hire a photographer to actually shoot this for you. Either way are great options. As I talked about earlier, you also want to give consideration to the sizing of your book. So let's say that you chose that your book is going to be 5.5 by 8.5. Your cover also needs to be the same size. As I've shared in previous videos, I really recommend that you hire a graphic designer to help you with the designing of your book cover. And the reason why I make this recommendation is that I find that a lot of first-time writers who do this step on their own, they don't have the graphic design experience. So why take this step and try to figure it out on your own when you can simply hire someone to do this for you? Of course, I recommend Fiverr, but if you must do this step yourself, I recommend Canva as well as BookBrush. And I do have an offer code for BookBrush, The Life of a Writer 15, which will take 15% off. Step number 7 is ISBN. Now, this is an optional step. You don't have to take this step. So yes, KDP does offer a free ISBN once you publish your book. However, if you use their ISBN, it will come with the imprint name independently published. However, if you purchase your own ISBN, you can use whatever publishing company name you choose. Step number 8 is a barcode. So when you publish your book to Amazon, you can publish it with or without a barcode. However, if you publish it without a barcode, Amazon will automatically add one to it. So this is one of those optional steps that you can choose to purchase your own barcode, or you can go with Amazon's barcode. Step number 9, create a book launch strategy. Now, this is a step that I see missed quite often, especially by first-time authors, which basically means that they haven't given any thought to what they're going to do in those days, weeks, and months following following them publishing their book to Amazon. This step is very important because it makes the difference in how many books you initially sell. So you want to make sure that you have a book launch strategy in place so that your book gets the most visibility that it's able to get within the first 3 months of publishing. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail in this video, but I do have an ebook called Book Launch Strategy that walks you through a very simple strategy for launching your book to Amazon or any other website that you choose. Step number 10 is publishing your book to Amazon, and this is the most exciting step because this is the step where you become a published author. So watch my next video where I share exactly how to upload your book to Amazon and what to include in those different sections so you don't have to figure.
Right. So the last one, top tips, you can self-publishing. What type of tips you need to publish your own book by yourself?
Started. What do you need to get started? Before you publish, you're going to need a few things in place. So right now, today, if you are considering publishing, self-publishing 6 months from now or even a year from now, these are things you need to start looking at. A cover. I'm going to go into a bit more depth on covers in a moment. But you may need to book a cover artist. If you're going to get a custom cover designed, you may need to book this months in advance because covers are, a lot of the good cover designers are booked long in advance. So think about what you're going to do for a cover, how much money you're prepared to pay. Are you going to pre-book a cover artist or slot with a cover artist? The same thing goes with an editor. These two items are non-negotiable. Now, there are ways around it, and I will discuss how you can save some money and do this cost effectively. But these two elements are absolutely non-negotiable. You need a professional-looking cover that can compete with all the other books that are out there on Amazon or on the other retailers. As I said, there is a lot of competition out there. If your cover looks amateurish, if it looks handmade, you are not going to sell books. People really do judge books by their covers. And an editor, having your friend who's a high school English teacher proofread your book is not sufficient. You need an editor who specializes in your genre. And I would recommend that you have a developmental edit first, where somebody looks at the big picture. And we have covered this in previous webinars, what the different types of editors are and do and how to do this. But you do need a developmental editor who looks at things like story structure, character arcs, etc. Then you need a copy editor or a proofreader, or preferably both. And this person who proofreads your book for, by copy editor, we mean somebody who checks the grammar, the spelling, who finds the punctuation errors, the formatting inconsistencies, inconsistencies in the character and names, etc. Ideally, they should be different people, because sometimes if an editor has already done one pass of a novel and they've already gone through developmental edits, they might not see the smaller fine-tuned stuff. So you want a fresh set of eyes to proofread your book before it gets published. And I can promise you, if you skimp on your editor, if you decide that this is a step you're going to skip because it costs too much money, then there is a large chance that your book will not sell. It might flop, it might get bad reviews, And I've actually known people who had to stop writing under a name and change to a whole new name to avoid the stigma that attached to their old name because they skipped this very crucial stage. So covers, as I say, I'm going to go into more. An editor is going to cost you, I would say anywhere between $500 and $1,000. How do you save money on an editor? Well, firstly, do not write an epic 100,000 word book. Most editors charge by the word or by the page. So obviously the more words you have in your novel, the more it's going to cost you. You could have beta readers if you find readers, preferably experienced readers in your genre, and your editor should always be experienced in your genre as well. You don't just want some random nonfiction author editing your thriller novel because they're not going to know what the genre conventions are for thrillers. So you could find a group of beta readers, for example, and get them to read and evaluate your work. That's one option. You can obviously look at, you get what you pay for. You can find cheaper editors, you can find more expensive editors. I happen to think that our novel editing rates are very that you are aiming your book at. The next step is a proofreader. As I said, this is usually something I would separate out from an editor. Again, if you're going to get at least pay for one round or get at least one round of professional editing. A beginner, a fairly new editor is going to charge less money. A friend could proofread for you. You could have a group of beta readers who are your final. For example, if you pay an editor to do a professional edit on your book, then instead of paying a proofreader, you could potentially have a group of 3, 4, 5 beta readers who do the proofing for you. But I really do recommend you don't skip one of these steps, because the final proofreader is going to catch all those final little typos that slip through on the main edit. And I promise you, my books often go through 6, 7 rounds of edits with different editors at my publishing house, a different proofreader, and there are still mistakes that slide through. Those mistakes are pernicious. Formatting. Now, this is something you can do yourself, and I will talk more about formatting later, but you absolutely do need to format your book properly. And you could, again, this is where you get what you pay for. You can hire a professional formatter to give you a beautiful glossy book. You could buy your own software to do your own formatting, or you could even just format your own book in Word or Scrivener. But there are certain conventions that you do need to pay attention to. Then, before you publish, you are going to need a product description, also known as a blurb, which I'm going to talk about more. You're going to need an author bio, so think about how you want to put yourself out there, what your brand is, and you're going to need a nice, smart-looking profile picture. You don't want one of those pictures where you've cut off the arm of the person who's hugging you at some party. You want a good head and shoulders picture that you can use. ARCs, author review copies, also known, or you could just call them review copies. You want to, once you have completed your manuscript and you've gone through all of these stages before you publish, you want to have review copies ready that you can distribute to reviewers. And I'm going to talk more about reviews. And then you need to think about a basic marketing strategy. Now, these are things that are going to cost you money. The cover, an editor, possibly a proofreader, possibly a formatter, possibly marketing. There are ways and means that you can absolutely launch your book without any marketing budget, but again, you're going to need to decide and tailor this plan for yourself. But I really do suggest you think about how you're going to market your book, even if it's in the most basic ways, because without a plan, your book will fail. As I said, there is a lot of competition. You cannot assume that readers will just find you.
Right. So these are all myself and Dr. Srutusan Madam's models. So now over to Professor Chennai, sir.
So congratulations, Samareswar, for your nice presentation. Good performance in the workshop.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So I think So, sir, shall I go? May I go for vote of thanks?
Please move, Amresh sir.
Thank you, sir. So it gives me immense pleasure. It is my duty to express my gratitude to my own teacher, philosopher, guide, mentor, keynote speaker, Professor Chennai sir, for his wonderful keynote address. You are not with a special reference to philosophical. In general, we look people as a writer, painter, singer, but sir perspective as a philosopher. So it is a new dimension. Thank you very much, sir. So
All
through
the best,
you, we
Amresh
are
sir.
learning. Most welcome, sir. Through you, we are learning to see the innovative perspective of a person. So we can learn so many things. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to express my gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Prabhasankar Shukla sir, and former Registrar, former HR Director, IQAC, Professor Dixit sir, Professor Rajareddy sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Venkateswara University for their cooperation, Professor Mitali Kauman, Dr. Srutasini Gogoi Madam for their wonderful support behind the screen, off the screen, on the screen. Thank you very much. Professor Mipun sir, ISTD Chairman Shillong chapter, for motivating us to become a part of ISTD. Even we have American ASTD also, American Society for Training and Development. While reading the book Narayana Murthy autobiography, I came to know this one really wonderful. And thank you very much for the participants for your nice interaction and your active participation. Again, we can meet tomorrow, 99th International Workshop at 5 p.m. Thank you very much. Now, National Anthem, immediately I can share feedback form to get your certificate.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind, thank you. Please submit your feedback form. YouTube viewers also, you can please submit your feedback form.